Thank you for joining me for our iCloud class today. We're going to be talking through the basics of several different apps in iCloud, and we'll put a particular focus on Photos and Drive. But before we do that, I just want to go over a brief summary of what iCloud is. When we're talking about iCloud, we are talking about Apple's service that allows you to have remote access to all of your resources, to store things off of your devices in case there's an accident, and to synchronize between several different devices or cloud storage. So when you enable iCloud, and this is something that is entirely up to you for all of your devices and computers, you can choose whether or not to turn this on or off. But if you choose to do so with your iPhone or iPad or your Mac computer, then you can use as many of these features as you like, and these settings will be controlled within the individual device. You can turn these things on or off. You can also access your iCloud, as I am doing right now, through a browser. So if you have turned on iCloud on any of your devices, even if you're away from them and you need to get to the information, maybe your phone is broken, maybe your tablet is inaccessible or at home and you need to get to something that you created on it, if you're using iCloud, you could go to a browser anywhere in the world and sign in and sync up with it. All you would need is internet access and your login information. You can see I've already logged in here. You see it's saying good morning to me, and it's showing me available apps. Now I'm going to go over what you would do with these different ones, but we first want to keep in mind the understanding that any setups that you've made or anything that you've turned on or off is done specifically with your device. When we talk in more detail about the photos and the drive, I'll go over some of the specific paths that you would follow with the settings. But remember, of course, this is dependent on which device you have. If you have a much older iPhone running an older version of iOS, the path might be slightly different than we are going to discuss. Now, going from the top left to right, first thing that we see is Mail. This, it's important to remember and to understand, is not to be confused with any non-Apple email service you might be using on your iPhone or iPad. So if you use Gmail or Yahoo or anything else on your devices, that is not what we're talking about here. This is the Apple email account that is provided when anybody gets an iCloud account. Now you might be wondering, how would I get an iCloud account? Well, if you have an Apple device, you already have one. When you first went through and signed up for your first iPhone or iPad, you had to go through and put in an email address and create this account. And so when you do that, that creates an iCloud account, and that is your login that you would use. The same login that you would use to get to your settings if you have any security issues with your iPhone or other device. That is the login that you would use to get to iCloud here. And when you did that, they created an Apple email account that you can work with. Now, many people don't use these. If you already had an email address, doesn't matter what it was, Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail, that you were comfortable with, you probably didn't change over to Apple email just when you got an iPhone. But if you do use the Apple email system, you can get to it through this the same as you can through your phone or your tablet. So this is accessible, and if you're looking for an alternative to your current email service and you're thinking about whether or not to try this, it does work nicely with some of the other features that we're going to discuss, so keep that in mind. I do not personally use Apple email, so if I click on that, it tells me that I would need to create the Apple email, which I would do through the iPhone. The cloud version that we're looking at here for all of these apps is rather stripped down and limited based on what you choose to do with your devices. And so if you use your devices with these features, then you'll see more of them here. Now the next one moving over is the contacts. If you have any contacts set up with your iPhone or other device that you use, then you have the option of syncing them with the cloud. I mentioned this just a moment ago, that the settings that we would control would be on our phone or whatever else we use for Apple devices, and we would go through and choose what to back up or sync to the cloud. So if you have your contacts and any of these other features set up to sync, what would happen is whatever is on your device, I'm just going to say phone for the rest of class to keep things simple, but this works for iPads as well. So whatever is on your phone would automatically be synchronized with the iCloud account. Now it's important to understand that this is not a backup in the traditional sense. Older kinds of backups or other options for backing up will just automatically copy everything from one location to another. This isn't exactly that. This is a mirror image. This is going to be very important when we talk about photos later on, so I'll reiterate it there. This mirror imaging of the information means that if you delete something from your phone, it is deleted from the iCloud account here as well. If you delete something from your tablet, it's also removed from the phone. They're all synchronized together if you tell things to synchronize with the account. So that is an option that you would choose when you go through on your phone to the iCloud app and you choose what to sync and what to back up. So the advantages are you have access to it everywhere. If something happens to your device, you can get up and running on a new one quickly because things are backed up to the cloud and that is stored with your login information, so it's safe in that way. The disadvantages are if you delete things from one location, they're removed from everywhere. So if I were to go into contacts here, I could look through some contacts and say, okay, I want to edit the Buffalo Wild Wings contact. I would click on that and choose edit. Now why would I do this here instead of on the phone? Well, some people, myself included, are more comfortable typing on a keyboard and working with the mouse than they are with the touch screens on the phone. If you have larger fingers or you just have more experience typing, you might have a hard time working with all the phone edits, but you might be able to do it easier here. This is also a way that you can see things that were synchronized from several different accounts if you have more than one device that's synchronizing things up. But anyway, when I'm here, if I wanted to make changes to it, I could. And that would then be recorded on all other devices. I could also go through here and edit the contacts and delete it if I were so inclined. I'm going to go back to the main list. Similarly, the calendar feature is the same as you might use on your iPhone. If you don't use the calendar on your phone or you don't have it set up to sync, then you might have nothing here. But if it's a feature that you use, then you would see all the events that are in your calendar. Right now it's showing a day view. Go to a month. And you can add or remove things as you are inclined. And that would then appear on your phone or any other devices that are set to sync with the iCloud. So you see, I hope the advantage of this, that we create a number of different things that can be seen in more than one place and that you always have access to no matter where you go. Now, as I mentioned before, photos is a bigger topic, so I'm going to come back to that one later. The same goes for the iCloud Drive. I want to mention a few more of these, though, before we get into the big talk about photos. Notes is another feature that you might have used on your phone before, just as a way to write something down for yourself or quickly make a reminder or have information at your fingertips. That can be synced with the phone to here as well. Advantages of this include if you have information that you want to definitely not lose, then if anything happens to your phone, you would lose it if it was not synced up. So you might choose to set that one to back up. Reminders is similar. This is essentially your to-do list, and you can have that available anywhere. Whether or not you want to have that backed up is again up to you. Neither the notes, nor the reminders, nor actually the contacts or the calendar really take much space in your iCloud. We're going to be talking about storage in a lot more detail when we get to phones. And so if you're thinking about that and worried about it, these are very small storage items, and they're not going to be a problem. Last few that I'll mention quickly, Pages, which is the Microsoft Word equivalent, if you're more familiar with that, for Apple. That is something that you can use here. Even if you don't have it set up on your phone or tablet, you can use it through the browser if you want. But you can also have it syncing with your phone if you want to have information passed back and forth. Numbers, which is the spreadsheet or Excel solution, same thing. You can use this either just on the cloud or you can use it on your device and have it synced up here as well. Keynote, which is the presentation software, similar to PowerPoint, same thing. Keynote files might take up a little bit of space because we very often have pictures or animations or videos associated with them, so that might start taking a little bit more of your cloud space, but really nothing compared to how the photos will work. Find Friends is a feature that you can have turned on. Typically you might have it with family members if you want to be able to keep track of where your children were based on their phone device. It's not something that I use. But it allows you to get a geolocation for other phones that are part of your group that have agreed to turn that on. And similar to that, you can have the Find iPhone turned on your phone or your tablet, and that will allow you to find the device if you have lost it. So the tablet would have to be Wi-Fi enabled, or sorry, cell phone plan enabled to be able to do that. But typically, this is something you would use with your phone. I can tell you I have used this in the past when I lost my phone. It is not going to walk you right within a couple of feet of it, but it does give you a general location. And when I used this and when I needed it, I was tearing up my house trying to find my phone, and I went and I checked it through this, and I saw the location of the library's address, and I knew where I had left it. I knew, oh, I left that at work, and so I was able to track it down there when I came in the next day. So it can give you, a broad range for that. If the battery on your phone dies, then that would be, it would record the last geolocation before the battery died, so you'd be able to find it that way. So those are a lot of the little features that we have here with the iCloud. I would, if you use an iPhone and you want to have information synced up, I would consider using any of the features that you use frequently. For me, ones that I would not want to lose because they involve a lot of work in putting the information in would be contacts and calendar. Those things, I have a lot of information in both my contacts and my calendar for the one that I actually use. And so that's something that I would not want to have go away just because my phone broke. So I would make sure to sync that up for my personal use. Again, it's up to you and what you're comfortable with and how you want to use your devices, but that's my recommendation. Notes, some people use Notes a lot. That's not a feature that I use that much, so it's not one that I've bothered syncing. Same thing with reminders. The calendar serves that feature for me, but depending on how you like to use your phone, any of these can be worthwhile tools to have turned on. With that, we're going to take a minute and we're going to talk about photos. One of the main uses of the iCloud is backing up photos. Now, this is something that you would have to consider whether or not you want to do. Again, you would go into the settings and go to Photos and turn the iCloud Photos toggle on if you wanted to back these up to the cloud. However, there are concerns with this. Number one is storage. The amount of storage that you have on your phone depends on what kind of phone you have. This is something that would depend on when you bought it, how much money you spent on it. If you don't know these specifications, you can find that out either looking at the purchase receipt that you have, or you can go into the settings and look at the about the phone information in the general category, and that would give you all the details about the storage space that you have available and how much you have used. So that's going to change. I can tell you about the iCloud account, however. By default, everybody starts out with 5 gigabytes of storage, and unless you have a very old phone, that's going to be less than you have on your phone. So if you take a lot of pictures or videos, and by the way, for the rest of the class, when I say photos or pictures, I'm referring to pictures and videos, because videos are treated the same way that photos are for both the phone settings and the backup storage. So if you take a lot of them, you're going to fill up space pretty quickly, and that 5 gigabytes will go faster than you might imagine. And so whether or not you want to use the iCloud storage for your photos, again, that's entirely up to you. You might look into other photo backup options that would give you more space to work with so that you wouldn't run out right away. However, if you like the Apple environment and that's something that you want to use and you want to keep all of your things stored in one place, then you might want to consider changing your storage plan. You might want to go to upgrade your cloud storage plan. You can do that through the iPhone or iPad and select storage that you want. So again, by default, you start out with 5 gigabytes. If you want to increase it, they have 50 gigabyte, 200 gigabyte, and 2 terabyte plans. If I scroll down here, you can see the pricing. This is a per month pricing. So 50 gigabytes going from 5 to 50, which is obviously 10 times as much and quite a big increase, would cost you 99 cents a month. So fairly trivial. There are a lot of different cloud storage services out there. There are pluses and minuses with a lot of different ones. We have a class where we talk all about this sort of thing. I can tell you that Apple's prices are fairly reasonable compared to the rest of the ones that are available. They have pretty good prices if you want to do this. 200 gigabytes, $3 a month. 2 terabytes, $10 a month. This is, of course, subject to change. If Apple changes their mind and chooses to increase it, I wouldn't be shocked. But for right now, that's what they charge. If you're wondering how much do I need, that depends entirely on how much you do with it. If you take a lot of pictures or videos, then you might need a lot of storage, especially if you have a newer phone that takes higher quality pictures and videos. So if you do so, if that's something that you want to use, keep these options in mind. Also, by the way, there's a family sharing choice where you can share this space that you have with multiple people. So if you have a spouse or a child that has their own account, but you don't want to pay for 2 terabytes twice, you'd rather just pay the $10 a month because you figure that'll be plenty for everyone, which it probably will be. 2 terabytes is quite a bit. Then you can do that and you can group everyone together in your family for that storage space. to give you a rough idea, if you take a lot of photos and videos, you might get past 200 gigabytes. I have been using digital cameras and cell phone cameras for a number of years now, and I like to travel and have a family, so I take a lot of photos and videos. I probably have about 250 gigabytes of photos total, so I'm a little bit beyond that. That's with many years of using it. So you can get past that, but it depends on how often you use it. I would start out, if you need to increase it, small, and then you can always increase it more if you run up against the size. So while we're talking about that, you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm running out of size? Or if I'm running out of space, I should say, and I need to increase the size. Well, most of you that have had an iPhone for a while have already experienced this. You will receive a message telling you that you have no more room to back up, or that you can't move it to the cloud if you have sync turned on. Typically, you will run out of space in the cloud long before you will run out of space in your phone. But if you have an older phone, you might run out of storage space on the phone, and then you would get a notification when you go to take a picture that you cannot save it to that. Again, I don't think this is likely unless you have a much older phone, but it is possible. So if you are running out of space with that, then you would go to the iCloud app on your phone and you would choose to upgrade your iCloud storage plan if you wanted to. Now, that is one concern for why you would back up the photos. The other one goes to something that we talked about earlier, the mirroring effect. You want to be very careful about this if you're choosing to back things up to the cloud, because anything that you delete from the cloud will automatically be removed from your device as well. So if you were to go into Photos here and remove something that you had saved to the cloud, then it would delete it off of your phone without asking you. And vice versa. If you delete something from your phone, then it would be removed from the cloud. So if you're thinking, I could just have this all back up to the photos here and then I can take stuff off my phone so I have plenty of space there, no, unfortunately, that's not how that works. Now, if you want to be able to remove things from your phone, then you can choose to turn off the sync toggle. Again, that was in the settings, phone, and iCloud toggle, so you can turn that off, and then you can delete the pictures from your phone and they will go away. But if you were to turn that toggle back on, it would automatically try to mirror everything and go back and erase the things from the iCloud as well. So don't feel like you can go back and forth. It's not safe to do that. If this happens accidentally, you do have 30 days to recover. So you can go to the iCloud app and you can choose to recover the deleted file. So you can be okay there. That is how the photos works. Again, my recommendation would be consider whether or not you want to be entirely in the Apple environment. If that's the case, you probably want to expand your storage so you have more room for that. If you don't, you might want to look into other photo backup options, whether you go with Google Photos or some of the other tools that are out there to back up your phone so that you don't use up all of your storage here. One last recommendation that I'll make is if you do choose to expand your storage for the photos, so you have a larger amount of storage space than you have available on your phone, then there is an option when you turn on the iCloud toggle, it will say optimize local storage. That will by default be checked, and you want to leave that one checked. That should be stored that way because what that does is it allows the phone to store a lower quality version of each photo that you take locally on the phone, so it uses less of the storage space there, while the cloud has the higher quality version available there. So that gives you the option of having just as many things on your phone as you have on the cloud, so you can show somebody, say you're just showing them on your phone, you can show them a photo size that would look just fine on the small phone, but if you wanted to, say, print it up or blow it up or crop out a small part of it and still have the quality look good, you would have that larger version on the Photos app, or on the Photos storage place, I should say, on iCloud. So if your phone has less storage than you have on the iCloud, that is something that you might want to do. One more workaround I will give you is if you have less storage space on the iCloud than you do on your phone and you want to be able to pull things from the iCloud onto a computer, you have that choice too. So if you go into Photos, and by the way, if you're wondering why I wasn't opening this up, I don't use Photos for all these reasons that we're describing on my iPhone, and so I have this turned off. I would have to go into the phone and turn that on to sync it, and that's not something that I want to do. That would end up creating storage space issues for me. So that's why we're discussing this instead of going into it. But if you were looking at your photos and you wanted to remove something from the iCloud storage, but you didn't want to lose it, what you could do is you could download it to a computer or device that was not synced. So if I am sitting here at a Windows computer and I wanted to download pictures that I had taken to back them up, I could go into Photos, select the ones that I wanted, and choose to download them locally. And I could then use a different cloud backup system or store them locally on an external drive or whatever I wanted to do to have a duplicate location where they're either safe there from the mirroring or that allowed me to remove them from the photos. So I could go through that way, and once they had been downloaded to a computer that was not syncing up, I could then remove them from my phone and the photos, and they would not be lost forever. So just a little bit of a workaround for you if you wanted to be able to store things that were in photos and then remove them from your cloud account. Similar to this is the iCloud Drive, and so that's going to be the next thing that we're going to talk about, is how you would store not just photos but any files that you wanted to your iCloud account. So let's take a look at the iCloud Drive. This is similar to other cloud storage locations that you might have heard of or used before, things like Dropbox or Google Drive, but it is designed to work more smoothly with your Apple devices. So if you have an iPhone already and you like the idea of cloud storage, this might be the easiest way to go about it. You can also install this on other computers as well. You can have it, of course, on Macs. So if you have a MacBook or a MacBook Pro or anything like that, you can use iCloud Drive on that, but you can even install it on Windows computers. So if you have an iPhone but you also have a Windows computer and you want to be able to work smoothly between the two, you can install an app locally there. You would get it through the Microsoft Store. It installs for free, and it allows you to, if you want, synchronize files between the iCloud Drive and the local computer, and if not that, then at least drag and drop and upload things to it as well. So this is a cloud storage location. Really everything that we've talked about in the iCloud is a cloud storage location, but the drive is more freeform. It does not automatically grab certain kinds of files or certain kind of information that you create on your phone. It allows you to put whatever you want here. And once you have things stored in the iCloud Drive, and you would do that either through a computer using the browser or through your phone using the app that is on there, you can choose to upload whatever you want to there. If you select something, you can download it. You can organize things by creating new folders. You can delete files from it, and you can share them. I'm going to take just a moment to go through all of that. So anything that you want to upload, if you click on the upload files, you can select. Right now we're in the downloads on my computer, but you could go to documents, you can go to pictures, you can go wherever you like. And so I could select a file and open it. And you see certain files that it will simply list the name. Other ones it will give you a bit of a thumbnail. I uploaded an image earlier there. And if I wanted to organize these in some way, I could create a folder. And then you can simply drag and drop. Then if I wanted to see what was in the folder, I double click on it. It shows me the one file that's already there. So if you have a lot of tax records that you want to keep, or online shopping or anything like that, you can create records here if you want to keep a place to store password or account information, kind of create a Rolodex, similar to, but organized in the way that you like with contacts. Whatever you want to put here. If you have information from work you need to bring home, you don't need to pull out a thumb drive and plug it into a computer and then remember to bring that home. You can simply drag things from your work computer into your iCloud Drive, and then when you get home, you can take them out of there onto your home computer. So it can be a nice resource for that. But even more than that, we have the option of sharing, and this can be very useful. When you choose to share a file or a folder, you can send that access to that to someone else. So you would put in either a name from your contacts or an email account that you wanted to be able to send it directly to, and when that person received it, they would be able to access that file and work with it as if you had copied it to them. You notice we have the email note here. This is a quick way to attach something to the email. The reason that it is faded and gray on mine is, as I mentioned earlier, I do not use the Apple email. So this is one advantage to having the Apple email account. Again, Apple always encourages you to live entirely in their world and to use all of their things together, and they synchronize very well. So if you do use the Apple email, clicking this would allow you to attach something directly to an email. I do want to remind you that iCloud Drive is taking storage space from your 5 gigabytes or whatever storage space you have available. So if you are entering larger files here, they will fill up that space relatively quickly too. Things like documents, spreadsheets, records like that, PDFs, those are not going to create a problem for you. Those will take space at a very slow speed unless they're particularly large. But it is not nothing. It is still taking some of the space up with that. So that is what you would use the drive for. This is something, again, that you can get for free for any computer that you would want to install it on, whether through the Microsoft Store or the App Store if you use Apple computers. And you can use that to synchronize things between devices so you have access to it everywhere. So if you wanted to be able to pull something up on your phone or on your tablet that was normally just stored locally on your computer, you can use the iCloud Drive as the go-between, as a way to find those files and to bring them with. So that's been an introductory summary of all of the features that we have available here on the iCloud. For more work with these, when it becomes available, come by the library for our classes on iPhones and iPads, and we'll learn how to use these things with the specific devices. We encourage you to stop by the lab and ask us any specific questions that you have, or give us a call. Hope this introductory was a little bit helpful for you and got you started on the right path. Thank you very much and have a great day.